You are listening to KSG podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, exam-oriented, edited editorial for civil services aspirants. In this podcast, we are going to talk about family planning program. The source for the content is Poonam Mutedra's article for the Indian Express. There are many reasons to celebrate India's achievements on the population front. Our total fertility rate, or the TFR, is 2.2, slightly higher than the replacement level of 2.1, the state when a couple is replaced by 2 children. 25 out of 28 states and 6 out of 8 union territories and most urban areas report a replacement TFR of 2.1 and less. While we were the first country in the world to launch a national family planning program in 1952, its first 25 years were characterized by lackluster implementation. Contraception choices other than female sterilisation were few. Then, the 21 months between 1975 and 1977 during the emergency proved to be disastrous. Forced sterilizations of men were carried out in family planning camps, and incentives and penalties led to coercion to meet targets. This caused a public outrage that contributed to bringing down the Indira Gandhi-led Congress government. The 2 decades between emergency and International Conference on Population and Development in 1994 were a wasted period. As a signatory to the ICPD program, India formally recognized that reproductive rights and gender equality were fundamental to population stabilisation. The National Population Policy 2000 emphasized the importance of enabling women to determine their family size and did away with sterilization targets. While India has managed to slow down the growth of its population, yet our family planning program leaves much to be desired. To begin with, women's well-being has not been fully assured. In November 2014, 16 young women tragically died and many were left critically ill following tubectomies at a mass sterilization camp in Bilaspur district of Chhattisgarh. The burden of planning a family falls almost entirely on Indian women. According to the NFHS 4 in 2015 to 2016, 36% of married women in the ages of 15 to 49 years underwent sterilization, as against less than 1% of married men aged 15 to 54 years. Less than 6% of men use condoms. There is a large need for contraception among married women, and contraception choices for couples are limited. Besides sterilization, there are only 5 other contraceptive methods available in the public health system. Injectables, which were approved for use in the private sector in India in 1994, were only added in the public health system in 2017, 23 years later. But despite these gaps, India's fertility rate is declining. Why then are some politicians and states such as Assam, UP and Lakshadweep calling for a 2-child policy? It reveals a poor understanding of what is needed to stabilize population. Kerala and Tamil Nadu have shown what needs to be done: ensure the provision of basic services, promote girls' schooling and improve development opportunities for women. Nothing could be worse for India than to emulate China's now reversed 1-child policy. Given the country's strong son preference, it has led to a skewed female-to-male ratio and an increase in sex-selective abortions. China is now facing a demographic disaster with an aging population and shrinking workforce. India does not have to worry about reducing population growth. The Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation has projected that India's TFR will drop to 1.3 by 2100. However, we need to make our family planning program more effective, which needs 3 actions. 1. Get rid of misconceptions about vasectomies and links to virility. 2. Prioritize women's agency, giving them the ability to choose if, when, and how many children they want. Finally, promote choice and do away with any form of coercion. The Ministry of Health, in a response in Supreme Court in December 2020, stated that it was unequivocally against setting limits on the number of children couples could have in a bid to control population. This is why invoking a 2-child norm makes little sense. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSG India courses and to crack the IELTS exam, visit ksgindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this video on ksgindia.com. Thanks for listening.